dokie. Alright, I'm assuming everything's working fine. But yeah. So this is the game I made. Just came out in the catalogue today, Platform 10. If anyone's been to Sydney, probably recognise a lot of the vibes of it. I'm just going to change the levels a little bit, make my mic a bit louder, and the game a little bit quieter. Oh, fuck, sorry, on one. Anyway, but yeah, so this is the game I just made, Platform 10. It's just come out in the catalogue for the playdate. So I thought I'd just do a quick little stream thing, just going over going over the game, some little Easter eggs in it, some little tips on how to play, because I know it's a math-based puzzle game, which a lot of people tend to struggle with, and it is, I've put in like speedrun sort of stuff as well, so yeah, we want people getting fast and pushing some times on the leaderboards, hopefully. I would like to not have the world record by the end of the week, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let's sort of go into it. So for those who don't really know the background of this game, in Sydney, every train has a 4-digit carriage number, just random 4 numbers, and it's a pretty common thing for people in Sydney to sort of get on a train, and while they're bored, a little game sort of developed is where you try to make 10 out of those numbers. So just say you had like, I don't know, 5, 3, 1, 1, you do 3 minus 1 times 1 is 2 times 5 equals 10. So you use all the numbers individually, and just use any math function you can think of to make 10 out of it. I used to do it a lot with some of my mates back in the Smash scene, particularly Luco. Shoutouts to Luco. He was a big train game fan. And yeah, when I was trying to think of a game to make for the playdate, I don't know, it seemed like a pretty easy idea to do. It was fun. And I also just moved to America as well, so I wanted to put some, like, I don't know, I wanted to do something distinctly Australian, and this was the first thing I could think of. And it came out pretty nice. Let's see, a little open machine for the first thing. For any Americans or non-Australians in the chat, open machine is just sort of like our ticket reader system. But yeah. So the game has a couple modes. One, just the basic game. Daily Commute is just a mode where every day is a different challenge. The one it seems to be starting off is you must be this tall. So the only numbers that will appear if you do this is just 5 and up. And there's a bunch of different daily challenges ranging from completely changing the rules of the game. So like letting you combine numbers together, like 1 and 2 to make it turn into 12, to do arithmetic on that. Some things are just stupid, like the calculator is broken when you're trying to use it, so you can't see anything on the screen while you're trying to calculate it. And some other more like sort of joke ones, where it only gives you numbers that are impossible, and the way to bypass it is just to skip them. But yeah, a bunch of those. I think there's like 30 something different daily commutes at the moment, so hopefully it doesn't get too repetitious. Yeah, by the time you rotate through them all, hopefully you've just sort of forgotten what they were. Added in some high score systems and some online stuff as well, but I'm running on the simulator at the moment, so the high score is not going to be up, and also not many people would have had high scores up anyway, so it's not too much of a problem. I've also added a bunch of achievements, so I've locked off all the achievements. I've like wiped my save data for this run, but yeah, just a bunch of achievements, everything from easy, just use a hint, look at some shortcuts, just finishing a run, down to like finishing a run in under 1 minute 30 seconds, finishing on no skips, some more challenging ones, get a daily commute streak of 7, so 1 every day, up to 10. Then there's some other ones like more gameplay related, so make 100 on the calculator, make 69. Then a couple more cryptic ones like finding the meaning of life, finding the chili, dividing by 0 is pretty straightforward, and also entering the quiet carriage, a little bit cryptic, especially for people who aren't familiar with the Sydney transit system, but hopefully it's a bit more obvious if you are familiar with it. Either way, people probably figure this one out by accident anyway. And give me a kiss, a classic achievement, gotta be hard to do. But yeah, then collect all of them. So let's go over the achievement system before we get into it. So one of the more easy achievements you can get, just how to play. Just read the how to play thing. Yada. And then if you go through all of it, you'll get a little achievement, as you can see down there, which is neat. And so in the achievement system, there's posters throughout the game. You'll see them in the background, and whenever you get an achievement, each achievement's tied to a poster. It'll show up into this gallery here, and a lot of these posters are sort of just like memes or like weird references to miscellaneous Australian stuff. This poster was drawn by one of my mates, Rose Hammer, extremely powerful artist. So this is one of the ones she drew. And you can see it's just a petting zoo for some of Australia's most cuddly creatures. And if you click on them when you've unlocked one of these posters and the achievements, to give you a bit of like context, I guess, to the picture, or just a further joke to it. So yeah, Australia has many cute and cuddly buddies out in the wild, from the rapturous red-bellied blacksnake to the radiant redback spider, and of course, who could forget the gleeful Gimpy Gimpy. There are so many friends to be found in the bush. So a lot of them are just going to give extra context to that sort of stuff. A lot of dumb shit posts I've written, and some actually do give more cultural context, but yeah. So, I guess let's crack into the game. So, this little transition image took me ages to do. In fact, let's go back, because there's a lot of dumb stuff in the background. So, simulator, I can pause it. So, this, it's probably not going to be able to see this on the console, because it is moves pretty fast into the background. But this station, there's two train stations in the game. One that's based more off Town Hall, one that's based off a place I used to live called Carlton. There's a train station next to there, which this place is based off. You can see some references to that nobody outside of anyone who lives near that specific train station is going to get or care about. Such as the wok and roast there. That was the local Chinese takeaway me and my wife used to go to almost every day because it slapped. They had like a $7 lunch meal thing that went hard as hell. We can see a can of piss just there. But we'll get back to that later, I guess. And you see a VIP room. For those who not know, VIP rooms are rooms in every single pub and club in Australia that you can just... there's poker machines there, like slot machines. We're all about those in Australia. Some other little things that aren't really Carlton related is... oh, I can't really see it. But yeah, there was some more stuff in that. Anyway, let's get into the game. So as you saw when I was going back and forth between those, you can see in the background, got achievement for using a hint, you can see in the background a bunch of these little posters. So those posters are going to be randomized every time you start a run. Yep. So another one of these posters is Bird One, done by my friend Rose. So you see the posters there, they change every single time. This poster over here, the Yarb Sale, Yarb Saab, done by one of my other mates, Jasmine. So Rose and Jasmine did a couple of posters for this thing. And yeah, they slapped. The ones they made are absolutely sick. Another sort of system you can see here that I added in. This thing, Lister here, it's not part of the poster. I've gone and added another little system where you can get a random like graffiti tag on the posters in the background. Pretty much all of them based off like famous graffiti artists, mostly in Sydney, some from Melbourne as well. Yeah, so Lister around Sydney, you'll see him around. Where's he, Melbourne? Yeah, anyway, you'll see him around. There's a few of them. I think I've put like 12 or 20 different tags there, and I think you have like a 1 in 8 chance of showing up. But so they're around. Yeah, but just a little chance to add a bit of more like Sydney flavor to the backgrounds as well as the posters. And I'm a big fan of this Crime Stoppers, the one with the magpie. That is the actual Crime Stoppers number, by the way. So if you call that, you will be directed to Australian Crime Stoppers, where you can report all the magpies. Anyway, so straight into the game. The way it sort of works, you get a train coming up, has 4 numbers, and you just have to make 10 out of it. So you can see you can't do multiple numbers at once. They have to be individual things. You're not going to be able to add something until you do it. If you enter an answer, you'll get just a record of what you've put in down the bottom of this notepad thing, just to keep track of certain things if you're not really sure. Like, just say you're not really sure what the factorial 4 is. Put it there, it'll show up, and you can sort of keep it on the back burner. You can act on those numbers afterwards. There's an 8 there, just so you want to divide that by 2, or by 4 to get 2. You can just keep doing that. And then obviously 2 times 5 equals 10. Put it in, train goes off. Up here it tracks which trains you've done, and you get a new train for your trouble. So another pretty easy one here. So 7 minus 6 equals 1, times 1 plus 9, 10. And that's pretty much the game. Pretty simple, but I enjoy it. I used to do the little train game. It's my favorite part of public transport back home, is just seeing if you can figure out the number. So the whole thing does use just BODMAS stuff. So if you were to do 3 plus 5 times 3, you will get 18. So it all works just regular BODMAS. We've got brackets there. So if you want, so you can make use of brackets. Yeah. Yeah, and the fractions we have is just plus, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, exponents, and factorials, which is pretty much all you need to get most numbers. I think in the end there were 17 different number combinations out of all 700 and something possible combinations that were just impossible to do with this limitation of functions. At least I think. If someone figures out how to do some of the impossible ones, I don't know, I'll give you $1 for each one you figure out. Anyway, but yeah. So now let's go back to the title. And then the daily commute. It must be this tall. Not one of the better, like the weird game-changing ones, but still, it just means that all the numbers you ever get will be multiples. Will be numbers that are 5 or higher for that particular one. And then if you press escape, you'll see if you need a reminder of what's going on. Yeah. Another little feature I put is petting zoo one again. Sick. So on the trains, there's obviously a lot of warning signs. I'll put a little spin on those. Every time you pause, you'll get a different warning sign. So if you need an emergency, stop playing. Don't be a snitch about graffiti. There we go. Keep it clean. Don't be a tosser. Old Australian ad campaign. But yeah. And then I've also changed the music tracks that are going on. The music was done by one of the tracks. The one you just heard was done by my mate Ben. The rest of these tracks are little loops my brother made for me. Whoop. So just these little ones. And the tracks will speed up or slow down when you're in like the menu or thing. So as you go into the game, I think track 2 is probably the easiest to show this with. It's pretty slow. And as you go into the game, it transitions to be a bit faster. But yeah, which is a nice little thing. Yeah. And then you can also turn the music off. And then, no music. I have added another little Easter egg here. So when you turn, so Sydney trains, the start and the very first and last carriage, and I think one in the middle, is designated as a quiet carriage, which essentially means no like legal mandate or anything, but essentially the trained people saying, hey, don't be a dickhead, don't play music on these carriages, just read a book, don't have your headphones too loud, yada yada. Quiet carriages, right? Just be quiet in them. So if you mute the music in the game, press enter, the signs will then be quiet carriage related. And there is an achievement for entering the quiet carriage. So yeah, keep chat to a minimum, no phones, and headphones volume down, which is fun little bit to program. But yeah, and then yeah, so now it just stays off for all of it. I'm gonna put the music back on though, because I like the music. But yeah, so what's one other thing? Oh yeah, the hint system. So when playtesting, I found a lot of people were sort of struggling with a lot of the math, which is fair. It's math, not everyone's a big fan. So just a lot of people getting stuck and just not knowing how to do things. One of the ways I tried to sort of help with that was adding a hint system. Main thing doing, so if you just use the crank, you'll crank to get a hint, and it'll give you the format of the problem. So you can see it's something times something in brackets plus something minus something, which should help people just sort of getting the grips of it and playing. So let's see if we can figure that out. So 2, so it'll be 4 times 2 equals 8 plus 7 minus 5, 2. So 8 plus 2. Cool. So if you're struggling a bit with math, that's an option. But yeah, and additionally, if you get to that and you still can't figure it out, it's still a bit too rough for you, if you do it again, you will just skip the train. The game will track how many times you've skipped and used hints throughout your run, but there's no like time penalty or anything. Yeah, there are achievements, but you're obviously doing it without any hints or any like hints or skips. But yeah. Anyway, so let's go into it. I'm gonna restart a run, go into it, and just see how fast I can do it, because you can go pretty speedy in the game. So 3, 2, 1. Let's see how fast I can go. So 5 minus 4. So a lot of it's that I saw a 9, so the rationale is, okay, I want to try and make 1. Okay, so 4 divided by 6 divided by 3 plus 8, done. Yeah, so you can go pretty fast. Oh, this is an annoying one. So 2 plus 2 plus 3 factorial. 3 factorial is 6. So 2 plus 2 plus 6, done. 6. This is going to be the same thing as before. So that 2, blue thing, yeah. So factorial of 3 is a really, really powerful one. Factorial of 4, I'll show you here. So factorial of 0 is 1. So 4 plus 4 plus 3 is 11, minus the factorial of 0 is 1. And that's pretty easy easy. Again, we're going to use that factorial of 0 again. So 8 divided by 8 is 1, plus the factorial of 0 is 1, times 5. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. So we're going to use that exponent to make the exponent of 1 of anything is just 1. So then it's just 1 plus 1 plus 8, which is a nice and easy one. This is going to be annoying. Okay, so 7 minus that is 3, plus 4 plus 0, done. Again, using that factorial. Okay, so that should equal 1 times that. So 1 times 5 times 2 is 10. A lot of it's trying to just reduce stuff down to the easiest things to figure out. Again, factorials. And there we go. A time of 1 minute 35. So probably the hardest achievement to get in this game is the sub 1 minute 30 achievement, which you can see I was 5 seconds off there. And that will require a bit of grinding. I think my fastest record is 1 minute and 18 seconds, which is rough, but it is doable. It is possible. So that was not super fast. I had a bit of a slowdown on some of those ones, especially that one with the 7 and the 4. But yeah, so it is possible to get really fast. And when you've done that, you'll get this. So once you actually have a high score there, you can track your high scores. It'll go through all the numbers you got during the thing, how many skips you used, how many hints you used, and then also it'll rank your top 5 scores locally. There's also, you can get like global rankings off Wi-Fi. Every time you complete a run, if you finish it in under 30 minutes, it will cache that thing, and the next time you're online, it'll just upload it if it's your best score. So if you're on the train, you run out of reception, doesn't matter too much, you can just sort of just go upload it later if you get a good one. But yeah, so yeah, this little score thing, it was designed to mimic the way the train timetables look in Sydney. So it's just like where those numbers are is usually where this train station stops are. The time is usually how long until the next thing, and then it's the carriages is usually how many carriages the car has and stuff. So a little homage to that. This scoreboard, I couldn't really think of anything as equivalent, so it is a bit more of a generic scoreboard, but that's okay. I can't really show you the global ranks at the moment because it's on the simulator and my things are not hooked up to the internet, but it is very similar looking to this, but with people's names. But yeah, and that sort of works. We can also go through and see I've unlocked a fair few more achievements, so use a hint, the shortcuts, finishing a run, finish under 10 minutes, finish under 5 minutes, all the way down to under the 2 minutes. And the last one, finish under 1 minute 30 seconds. And also finish with no skips or hints. So this is one of my favorite posters I did. It's actually a picture of me in Albuquerque pretending to be Bigfoot. So I went to a Progenics conference in the middle of the desert and I saw Bigfoot. This is the only photo I could get of him. He is my boyfriend. So yeah, some of these a lot of these explanations would be extra memes, and some sensible jokes, and also adding context what the fuck these pictures are a lot of the time. So this one, for instance, this is a lot more readable in the actual playdate when the pixels are smaller, but it is just like a 1-bit version of a piece of graffiti from an artist named Slug, who I really like. Sydney-based graffiti artist. Cool, really cool stuff. Used to use one of my favorite artists when I was a kid. Really intricate, like these weird sort of like condom monster stuff. They're sick. So this one's not much of a joke. Just me saying, hey, this is some art from my graffiti artist I love called Slug. Look him up. It's sick. Yeah. So some of the poster things are not quite as much of a joke. They're more just me explaining what the thing is. Yeah, this one's a color blindness test. So obviously it's one of those tests you've probably seen. Obviously the number there is 3. If you can see it, you're not colorblind. If you can't see it, you may be colorblind. But yeah. This one's neat. So on our first 1 year into me and my wife when we started dating, we went out for a date. We saw this sign, which I've just recreated. And yeah, I thought it was a little cute thing, a little homage to my wife to put it in there. Yeah, so I love my wife, love a good spit roast. So I thought I'd include this as a tribute to our love, which is pretty cute. But yeah, so that's a lot of things. Finger lime's a good one. But yeah, that's a lot of the bits of the game. And what else do we get? No, entering the quiet carriage. But yeah, so one other thing to mention is on the way I programmed in the hints is I sort of just went through and solved every single possible number. Obviously, I didn't really want to do that for all the 30 different daily commutes. So there are no hints for the daily commutes. It's just you got to skip them. Ideally, I would have liked to put in hints for that, but it is a lot of work for not that big of a benefit, especially since the daily commutes don't track your time or anything like that. They're much more of just a chill, no sort of timer, stressless sort of vibe. But yeah, the daily commutes are nice. So a lot of them are going to be pretty simple. Because obviously this one's just... Oh, there's another graffiti on the background. Obviously this one's just numbers that are 5 or up. A lot of these will be... You'll see normally. But I found a lot of the ones that have like number restrictions do have a lot of repetition in the numbers that show up. So you will start getting very, very good at, if you do these, at certain types of functions, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like, certain patterns are going to show up more. And this game is a lot more... It's a lot less about being good at math and a lot more about recognizing patterns, which is what I found to get good times. So you're really not super focused with trying to get, like, know what the it's not so much about focusing on what, like, knowing the math behind it. It's just more focusing on, like, well, there's a pattern here. I know this pattern, so I know that 0... I see 5s, I don't want to add these together. Now, how can I cancel out that? It's all just about figuring out pattern recognition. So I'm trying to see if I can find a really obvious example for it. This one's less obvious. Try to find a 9 and a 1. That's the dream. But yeah, it's okay, so let's move that. The one time I want to find a very obvious example of pattern recognition, I can't find it. This one surely, I believe. Not quite, but this one's sort of close. So you see, like, okay, here's a 2. You know, like, I know 2s and 5s are going to equal 10. So my next big question becomes, okay, how do I get these numbers down to 5? And that would just be 6 minus 5 equals 1 plus that. But yeah, so a lot of it's sort of recognizing the little patterns like that. So another one, okay, 8 and 2 is 10, I know that much. How can I cancel out these two numbers? We're just going to be making that 1. And then when you have a 1, you just times it by anything, it just goes away. So you know that 1 just makes things disappear. Okay, this one's a great example. So I know that 1 and 9 equals 10. And at this point, it's a pattern that's really obvious. So 1 to the power of anything. So 1 to the power of 3 is 1. 1 to the power of 9 is 1. 1 to the power of 0, also 1. Like, 1 to the power of anything is 1. So if I just do 9 plus 1 to the power of everything, it's just going to sort itself out. Because 1 to the power of anything is 1. Similarly, if you have that pattern in your mind, like, you know that 1 to the power of anything is whatever, you know you have two numbers that are the same, you know you can make 1, that's a pattern I've remembered. There's just that, which is easy. So I think the mod mouse on this works out. So you know that, like, two numbers together could be anything, like 6 divided by 6 to the power of anything is 1. Well, not quite. The way bod mass worked there is that it went too low. That's actually a bug in the game that I can't really fix, but if you get a number that's like 0.10,000 zeros 1, like 9 divided by 9 to the power of 7, it will just end up being 0, which you can use to your advantage. Like, you can just do that, and the game, because the game will treat that infinitely small number as a 0. But I don't really know how to program around that, and it's fine. It's a creative use of game mechanics. But yeah, so you can just do 9 to the power of 9 divided by 9 to the power of 7. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be 1 plus 9. Bam, you're in again. So yeah, a lot of the game is just pattern recognition. So a really common, like, good way to figure out patterns is knowing how to make 6. 6 seems to be a really, like, useful number. So 2 times 6 plus 4 equals 10. Then you got to finish off using that 0. So that's an important point. You can't just have, like, the 10 and enter. It's not going to work. you do need to use all the numbers. So plus is 0 to 10. Now it's 10 using all the numbers and it's good to go. But yeah, these ones are sort of funny. So you just got to do that divided by that. So equals 2 plus 2. But yeah, anything with 6 is just really helpful and fun. I'm a big fan of 6s. I like them a lot. And also I'll show some of this stuff, because I realized at one of my high school you didn't get to see what it looked like when you've used hints and things. But yeah, no, another really easy pattern is, you know, the factorial of 0 is 1. So 0 times 6 times 7 is going to equal 0. And if you have a 9 lying around there, so 9 and 0 is always going to have the same solution. It's just 0 times everything else equals factorial, then plus a 9, bam, 10. But yeah, so you can see the game track how many hints you've used and how many times you've skipped. So obviously you have to use a hint before you skip, but if you skip a train, it's going to count that towards the skipped instead of the hints. So there is a bit of a differentiation between those. But yeah. But yeah, and then back up. But yeah, so all up, it's a pretty simple game, but I've put a lot of little, like, graphical stuff, nice little polished things, which is nice. Actually, I'll probably show you what happens when this does that. So daily commute. Let's get into it. Okay, so again, we had that pattern before. Same thing, divided by itself equals 1. Power of 8 is 1. Get that 9 there, sorted. So in a daily commute like this, you're going to be getting a lot of those, since there's a smaller pool of numbers, you'll be getting a lot more of those two same numbers and more a higher chance of a 9. So that will sort of like force you to learn that tech pretty quick. So 6 minus that plus that will equal 5. Ta-da. Here we go. So not quite thing divided by itself, but 8 minus 7 is going to be 1. Power of 6, and then you can use that little thing. So again, a lot of this is just recognition. You can see on the calculator there, instead of saying nice, it said boobs. There's a 1 in 30 chance the calculator will just say boobs if you get a correct thing. But yeah, so let's see, what have we got here? So this one is interesting. So I know there's a 7 there, and I want to end up getting 3. So I want to find a way that I can cancel out these two, which is another trick. So the factorial of n divided by the factorial of n minus 1 equals n. So I can cancel out that 7 pretty effectively, which means I can then go 8 minus 5 plus 3, bam, you're in. So some of these, here we go, another one where it's just make 1, the power of something, and then we have that 9 left over to sort us out. But yeah, I'll show you on the main menu plates, because I do have some of those hints listed there. You can just go have a looky-loo. Again, the pattern. So now you can sort of see that pattern of like, okay, thing divided by itself. So you see two in the same numbers together and a 9, you know, okay, bam, I've got that one sorted. I have the solution in my head. You recognize that pattern. Less so that you know what the math equals. It's just there's a pattern there and you know it. And some of these daily commutes where they restrict the number pool will bring those up a lot more often, which helps you get good at a lot of them, which I found is a nice little bonus of having daily commutes. Is a lot of them will test your skills in very specific areas that you will sort of just learn by repetition some of the answers. So yeah, so 5 and up, does a really good job of teaching you how to deal with how to use patterns that involve 9s, how to get a 1 out of 3 numbers and just use a 9. So finish daily commute, goes there. So when you've done daily commute, it'll say done. I can't show this now because it's a daily commute only changes daily, but it will just have a little like streak count, how many days you finish in a row up here. And you saw before, there's a bunch of achievements that sort of like go through, like do a daily commute for 3 days in a row or 7 days in a row, and you'll be able to track that as you do it. But yeah, you'll see on the how to play thing, goes through it. I put a little explanation of what factorials are, what exponents are, for people who aren't super familiar with those. And here are some of the more useful tips of the game. So 1 to the power of anything is 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1, which is another really useful one. You can also do something times 0 factorial 1, but as you're pushing for faster times, you want to have like a shortcut to get around doing that extra function. The factorial of 0 is 1, which is useful. And there's that other tip I showed you, where the factorial of anything divided by the factorial of the number below it equals that original thing. This is really useful. Say you have like a 6 and a 5, and you just want to cancel out that 5. That's going to do wonders, and it's just super useful for a lot of things. Yeah. So one other thing I should probably show on the stream. So if you just do there's an option for the chili here. And if you engage, you'll get my sounds of my mate Davey laughing and the recipe for my chili. So there you go. And of course that unlocks the find it. Finding the chili achievement. So yeah. I'm sure you might be able to figure out how I did that if you watch the stream back, but yeah. And why not show off one more little Easter egg? One of my favorite ones. To do it though, I'm gonna have to get a certain set of numbers. Here we go. So sometimes I just want a little smooch. But yeah. There's a lot of like dumb little stuff in this game, little like Easter eggs. You'll see other Easter eggs in the transition for the other display mode. So you'll see this one sort of like the daytime mode. If you're playing at nighttime, just based on your console's internal clock, there'll be a different scene that's underground. Some other little Easter eggs in that. And just a lot of fun little extra bits throughout the game, which is yeah, one of the funnest things about making this was just adding in all those like small little extras. I just want to give a little shout out to all the people who helped me do it. So there's me at the top. I did a lot of the programming and a lot of the art assets and stuff. The music was done by my mate Ben, or Joe 40. He's a artist based out of Sydney. Does a lot of really sick ceramics work. You find him if you look up Faux Geordie on Instagram. My brother Jude, he did some of the tracks as well. Yeah, he's hanging out. He's doing some cool stuff. I actually don't know what he's doing nowadays. Fuck. I should probably know. I talked to him like last week, but still. Anyway, and a couple of those posters done by Rose and Jasmine. I'll highlight those in the gallery right now. So this one's by Rose. The Petting Zoo, banger of a poster. This one's by Jasmine. The Big Yale. Don't try to understand it, but it's just fun. It's a funny bit. I'm a big fan of the Big Yale. And there was that bird picture as well, done by Rose. Another banger. But yeah, so they did those. So they did those 3 posters for me, which was I'm very grateful for because those look sick. Also used a lot of the, yeah. When I was making the posters of myself, using those as a reference, sort of learn how to draw better and do pixel art better was extremely useful because they're both 2 very powerful artists. Yeah, Rose, you might have seen some of her work on like she's getting animated for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show, some Lego show a while ago, like Monkey Kid. Yeah, she does a lot of wild stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's a lot of other small things in the game, but yeah, that is for you to find out. It was a lot of fun making it. Hope you go pick it up. And now, before I finish up, let's try and get the sub 130 before I head off here. So, I've already fucked it. So, getting sub 130, gotta go fast. The answer to that was 7 minus 1 minus 1 plus 5, but if I don't input it immediately, it's all over. The big thing about going fast in this game is being able to... The very first train's the hardest because you have less time to read what the thing is before you can start inputting stuff compared to the rest of the trains. Because you don't have like the train... you're missing out some of the time when the train's coming in. You sort of get thrown right into it. So it's the hardest train to do. But yeah, love it just being fast. It's a bit slow, but we'll take it. So now this one gets a bit easier. Okay. Okay, that was a rough one to do because it took a while to input, but that's okay. We persevere. I want to be resetting the calculator. You can control it underneath. Fucked it. Bit slow there, but it's still doable. Okay, so 9 minus 8. Resend calculator top left. Okay. 8 divided by 2 plus 6 plus 0, 10. Okay, sick. I think we're on pace. 9 divided by 9 plus that. Ooh, okay. 8 minus 7. I think we're getting some easy, quick ones. It should make up for our slower times at the start. One more. Alright, this isn't fast. I could be in it. Okay. Cool. Minute 22. So, we got it. A little bit slow at the start there. But yeah, I reckon if I clean that up, they might have been able to be pushing world record time, but we'll take those. Not bad. And let's go look at what we've achieved. So we have now unlocked this. Big Bully Inc. Fratricide / Eve. For those who don't know the meme, it's just look up Pitbull breeder posters. Some of them are just fucking wild. Like, you'll have these dogs that have names like Fratricide, X Genocide, X Hardcore Machine Gun, and that's the dog's name. And they have these like big epic sort of posters of these dogs, and it's just stupid as hell, and I love them. But yeah, so yeah, if you're a big man enough to get the sub 1 minute 30, then you get to see the fucking beefcake dogs. But yeah, and the last thing before I head off, show off some of the little animation I made to sort of little card animation. I've noticed a lot of the animations for the cards are sort of just like square things. I want to make something a bit more, I don't know what the word is, like, I don't know, dynamic? I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit more, little train coming in, which is nice. And then when you go into it, a little animation loading you right into the thing. This is the demo version of the game I just launched into, but yeah. So you can see with the demo, it's set in the, what do you call it, the underground thing. But yeah, so that's Platform 10. It's 6 buckaroos over on the catalog. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you get amongst it. Give it a crack. Again, if you need any help playing it, any hot tips or anything, or I don't know, wigged out about getting some of the Easter eggs, I'm on the Playdate Squad Discord. You'll find me there. There's a thread there if you have any sick high scores, in particularly challenging numbers. Yeah. One more thing, on all the promotional material and like cards and everything I've done, these numbers here, anything that's not in game, I've tried to make sure is impossible. So 6617 should be an impossible thing to solve based using the rules of Platform 10. So that's a bit of a laugh. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I'll have the VOD up of this, so if anyone wants to go back and watch it for any of their tips and tricks and stuff, it's all there. Yeah. God bless, and buy my game. Bye.